I've been running hatless outside as well. Imagine if I just clicked new game by accident. Imagine if I forgot the fact that the ball already rolled all the way to the bottom. What does it matter if we start a new game? Yep. I forgot about the sprint. You can tell we're sprinting because our FOV got wider. I've been running hatless outside. Not running, walking mostly, but I don't know. I feel like I'm at the next. It started with the idea that I would regrow the horseshoe, and I rejected that idea, but I've landed on the compromise of just going hatless outside. Why hatless outside? I don't know. It feels like I'm turning my baldness into a point of pride instead of. I mean, it was never something to be ashamed of, but I guess partly wore a hat because I didn't want a sunburn, and partly wore a hat because it's like a bald guy's hair. But now I'm like, fuck it, bro. We're Bezos maxing. Get it twisted. I will be going on human growth hormone. I will be taking steroids and wearing a puffy vest. I will be looking like an ex-military special forces mercenary in my 50s. I'm just kidding. I'll probably just look like a guy. Maybe like a bald Andy Daly type deal. Okay, hold. Push. Justin may have saved my life by telling me not to sprint on the bridge. So mission number 1 is just get to the bridge. Step number 2, do it. Step number 2, press shift. With that, nothing could stop us. Did you see the Twitter thread of the Japanese guy who moved to Canada? I think so. Is that the one where it was like he was answering the questions? The question was like, how do you get a job? And he's like, you don't. Even Canadians can't find jobs. Are Canadians racist? In public, they will deny that racism exists, but in private, they're the most racist people you've ever met. I was like, listen, I think he's wrong on a lot of stuff, but I can also understand where that frustration comes from, especially as like... like when I was living in Korea, for like the first month of it, I was like, this is the greatest country on earth. They solved all the problems that North America has. And then after you live there for like a little bit, you have to do like something real, like interact with like the bank or a government or something. You're like, what the fuck? This country fucking sucks, bro. And they turned all the solutions from North America into problems. And the real answer probably lies like somewhere in the middle, I guess. But like the point is you got to consider the source that you get it from. Like me, I'm not a good source for like, is Korea a good country to live in? Because I lived in a little expat exclave essentially where I barely integrated with like or interacted, I should say, with like the real systems of the nation that you would have if you're a citizen. Not to mention, trying to pick up the culture like in one big gulp at age 22 or something like that. You lived in Itaewon? I did not live in Itaewon. Don't insult me, okay? You think I'm U.S. military? Not yet, brother. Wait till the Patagonia vest arrives. I didn't even live in Seoul. You moralizing Seoul. You didn't really moralize, but you made an assumption. You know what happens? You made an ass out of you and me. Hey, hold. Okay, hold. I'm not trying to do catch and release, okay? Sometimes you just release and then you got to go catch. But anyway, yeah, I never really made an effort to like become I don't know, a normal citizen of the nation of South Korea. So like all my opinions are basically like about Korean private schools and then also like the worst bars on the planet because they only appealed to expats living in Asia. So it's basically something like that. I wouldn't take my opinions on Korea too seriously. Unless you're asking me as an ESL teacher. Even then, it was like 14 years ago, basically. I'm sure things have changed, but... Okay. We are no longer sprinting, and we are not glancing. We are no longer sprinting, and we are no... Okay, the glances now officially stop. We've locked in. Justin, you mad genius. You Prince of Maine. You King of New England. It's easy? You literally just have to walk? Oh my god, it's the angry video game nerd bit, but for real. You can just walk over it? Who made this? It's like Icarus wings touched Apollo's sunlight cockadoodie bullshit. It's like a Zeus's lightning bolt full of diarrhea doo-doo. Holy cow. Justin, you've saved my life. It's the easiest thing of all time. You literally just walk it up. In fact, now there's a part of me that's like, why would I ever sprint ever? Well, okay, hang on. We got a good reason here. That's the whole point of Sisyphus. No, it's not. The whole point of Sisyphus is not... If the lesson you've learned... And there's many lessons to be gleaned. But if the main lesson you've learned from pondering the myth of Sisyphus is be patient... I'm just going to say it. Basically, the gods own you, little bro. The lesson I take from the myth of Sisyphus is that a certain degree of happiness comes from simulated struggle. So even if the gods punish you, it's like Justin's bit about, oh my God, did it crash? Saved. It's like Justin's bit about, who cares if they put me in detention? I can just watch Terminator 2 in my head. That's Sisyphus, bro. Nobody can punish you if you have the light inside of your soul. Like, joke's on you, motherfucker. I like pushing the rock. Hold, 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 hold. The point is that nothing matters? Yeah, okay, but that's not the end point. That's like an interim point. That's like baby's first philosophical point. Okay, nothing matters. You got 62 more years on the planet. What are you going to do with that information? I'm going to keep a smile on my face as best as I can. Justin, you fucking genius. The movers trying to put my 3,000-pound boulder into my 7-story walk-up downtown Bed-Stuy, Manhattan. Now that I think about Bed-Stuy, probably not in Manhattan. I shouldn't New Yorker post without the information. It's in Brooklyn? Is Brooklyn in Manhattan? Probably not, if I had to guess. Okay, that's fine. Now we sprint. Now we sprint. It's going to make it over there, so just relax. ... People from Indiana, when the Canadian guy doesn't know everything about New York. It's the most famous city in the world. Oh, really? You never hear of Atlantis? Motherfucker sunk, bro. You said you'd never forget. Atlantis isn't real? Yeah, not for like 2,000 years or something. All these cities within cities, it's too much. I know! Dude, you know, there was that party on Scott Road in Surrey because the Canucks won game 1 of the their series against the Predators. I'm just here to say, Predators fans, maybe this will come as an offense to you, but I mean this as an olive branch. No matter what, like, the worst media guys in your market tweet, I'm not going to get any hard feelings towards the Nashville Predators. I'm sorry. It's a fake rivalry. We're not rivals. We're paired up together. We're not rivals. We're, like, geographically insanely far apart. We have very little, like, history of bad blood between the teams. We're just chilling. I'm not some dude from fucking Knoxville is getting mad that some dudes from Surrey were taunting, like, the Predators from 3,000 kilometers away. Who cares, man? Predators fans mad because the seats in Rogers Arena are old. I'm like, I know they're old, brother. I'm the one sitting in them. They're not wrong. There's no you even if they win the next 4 games, you will never make me hate the Predators. We got a long way to go, man, before we get to that level of resentment. Now, if we play the Oilers, there's bad blood. I'm trying to think of who. If we play Vegas, there's a little bit of bad blood. Dallas, I guess there's bad blood between, like, the owners of the two franchises. It's not really my problem. Boston, Boston, let's cross that bridge when we come to it. It'd be nice just to make it that far, honestly. Chicago, well, they'd need to make the playoffs first, but who are the Canucks' biggest rivals? Number 1 is Calgary Flames, which is kind of pathetic for the Canucks because the Calgary Flames' biggest rival is the Edmonton Oilers. Like, we're kind of like a bridesmaid in that sense. We have bad blood historically with the Bruins, but it's kind of neutered because we don't play them that much. And for 10 years, like, we've been ass, and they've been mind-bogglingly consistently good the whole time. Avalanche? Not really. It's really, like, you got to remember we just went through a period of basically 10 years of mediocrity. So our rivalries really got down to, like, brass tacks. It's Calgary, it's Edmonton. Those are the big ones. Chicago, when they inevitably get good again. That's about it. And I mean, everybody just doesn't like Vegas unless you're a fan of Vegas, which is fine. It's just sports anyway. Hold. Kings, I would say Kings a little bit just because they own us, little bro, this year. But it needs, like, a little extra history in order to become a true rivalry, I think. Like, we would need to play in the playoffs soon and then, like, have it go to 7 games and, like, someone gets injured or something like that. Doesn't mention the Jets. We're not rivals, bro. You're a very good team. We're not rivals. I mean, no disrespect. You've only been back in the league for, like, 10 years or something like that. And you have been consistently pretty good, except for a couple of aberrations. And we've been consistently horrible, except for a couple of aberrations. Like, we have no... we don't really have any... There hasn't been the opportunity for bad blood to fester. All right. I would love to be Seattle's rival, but I think they're still, like, too new. And unlike Vegas, they didn't, like, blow the doors off as soon as they started. So, like, naturally, my dream for the Canucks is that we can stop being the third wheel in the Flames and Oilers rivalry, and we could start having, like, a real rivalry with the Kraken. But it's still it's a little early. Hold. I've made a mistake. Never mind, I've recovered from my mistake. It's just hockey, though. I'm just like, because the Twitter algorithm is good at serving me hockey tweets now. and is also good at, trying to make you angry so you spend more time on the app. They're serving me both, and it's not one franchise or the other. I'm getting Vancouver podcasters trying to make me angry at one Predators fan who drank 12 beers and said something that wasn't cool. They got Predators podcasters trying to make me mad at Canucks fans who said something uncool, and I'm like, you can't do it. The sauce isn't there. Round one, whatever happens, happens, man. If the Predators beat us, best of luck to the Predators. If we beat them, I hope that, we can maintain some sense of civility. Now, if it was Canucks Flames, it's like, get them on both sides. I mean, it's on site in that rivalry, but... Okay, push it, push it, push it. Hold it. Go fast. New tech. All right. Then go again. And hold. Dude, not bad. Not bad. Odds the Leafs win it all? Well, they at least won yesterday's game, which was I don't know, not mathematically a must-win, but spiritually probably close to a must-win. I think I have a bias. I overrate teams that have a reputation for being chokers. Because just in my head, and this is not based on probability, but in my head, I probably overrate the results in the regular season and always assume that when someone gets a reputation for choking, what that is, in my opinion, and it never bears out, so I may be wrong, maybe am wrong, but I think that the idea of a team being full of chokers doesn't make sense to me. The idea that they just wanted it more, it strikes me as a post hoc rationalization caused by variance. It's 16 teams make the playoffs, 15 of them lose. So for a good team to lose 4 years in a row is actually a more common result than a rarer result. That being said, for 8 years, I was it's the Sharks' year. They're too good in the regular season. Eventually, they're going to get over the hump. They never got over the hump. I don't know what this is, man. Why is there so much oil on the ground? POV, you are fucking Sam Porter Bridges or whatever. Cogent Points NL. I told you, I'm the only normal sports fan. I'm obviously not, but I feel like I'm the last motherfucker that's not, doesn't run a Quinn Hughes fan account on Twitter, doesn't call into talk radio to be well, we gotta call up Atu Rowdy, we gotta call up Atu Rowdy. His advanced stats on Abbotsford are crazy. Or isn't just watching sports because I'm addicted to gambling and I've got my mortgage payment on the money line of some Indian cricket game or something like that. I'm just the last guy who's just oh, the game's on. Let's just turn it on. I need some action. Let's bet on this. Let's bet on this shit. Hey. So you can't explain Corsi to me? Corsi is it's an advanced stat that measures how often the puck is moving in the right direction when that person is on the ice, something like that. I was kind of, I knew at some point I knew what Corsi was, but then there was like a Corsi for and a Corsi against, and I was like, this shit's too much, man. I've gone from like, because Moneyball, the movie came out, I don't know, 2012 or something like that. I was 23, 24. Millennials were starting to get some cultural cachet, right? Like it wasn't all Gen Xers and baby boomers. Like all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, this like Nate Silver wunderkind just predicted every state in the 2008 election and he's only like 25 years old. Like my generation was starting to get a little bit of import. And I feel like it's easy to get seduced by that. So I was like, bro, all these fucking old NHL scouts who don't use advanced stats, they're like on their way out. And now that I'm 35, I've completely gone back to like as a casual fan of the NHL, I should just be using the eye test. That's what it's there for. That guy looked good tonight. That guy looked bad tonight. I don't care. Nikita Zadorov had a 21% Corsi against. Yeah, but he was fucking throwing haymakers out there. He was lighting motherfuckers up, bro. Some of them didn't have the puck, which is not something you should be doing, but he was rattling their damn bones, man. I'm not really an analytics hater. Like, I think I would like it if my general manager had some idea of analytics. But, like, it annoys me when it's, like, people use it. Well, it's just, like, why? I guess the part of me is, like, why the fuck are you arguing about sports online if you don't, like, work in the business? Like, isn't that, like, an extreme waste of time? You're arguing about, like, hypothetically over what the general manager should do, but you have no control over it one way or the other. Isn't there like something? You'd have to be an idiot to think that they should call up Jet Wu for this series. Like he's not the defenseman you need in this situation. Brother, they're not listening. They're not paying attention to me. It has no influence one way or the other. This may actually be the easiest game of all time. Patience, young Padawan. Since you only worked in an office job for 1 month, how did you learn about access? Excuse me, I didn't work in an office job for 1 month. You got many things confused. I worked as a mover for 1 day. I worked that summer in an office for, I don't know, it's probably 8 weeks. Then the next summer, I worked in an office for 4 months, and the next summer I worked in an office for 4 months. So I got it, and then like, I mean, teaching, you spend some time in an office. I don't know if I'd call it office work. I got like a year of white collar employment under my belt. It's not a ton, but like, how did I learn Microsoft Access? I mean, the answer is because I used it for my fucking job, bro. Go, go, go. I was administering damn databases, man. What do you think? Did you enjoy the white collar life? It wasn't all bad. There's parts of, I mean, I wasn't in love with the duties of it, but like the environment was okay. One thing, and again, you may disagree with this, okay? I'm not a formal Andrew. I don't really care what you wear, but I did work in an office where, at least for a time, you had to dress, I don't know, what would you call it? Business? It wasn't business casual. It was like one step above business casual, but not like a tuxedo and tails. Is that just business? Say business. Okay, just wait. Wait. Okay, wait again. I missed it. And one thing I don't understand is like the whole time when I was growing up, you would always hear boomers say stuff like, oh, I hate wearing a tie. Like it's like the tie is like a noose to me. Like I can't wait to get this tie off of my neck. I wore a tie every day for, I mean, admittedly, it was only 2 summers. But every time I wore a tie, I was like, sick, I get to wear a tie today. It's kind of nice. It's like, as a man, I really don't feel like there's easy ways to go up like 1 to 2 points of attractiveness instantly. But just dressing in like a suit is how you do it. Like, it's all I got, man. Anytime I get the opportunity to put a suit on, I'm like, yes, I get to be like hotter today because I could wear a suit. The catch is it has to be the right environment. You can't be the guy wearing a suit to like day one of Buy All 101. There you want the Cookie Monster sweatpants. I've made a mistake. Hold. And then go. And then go again. Whee! Nothing stopping you from wearing a suit on stream. It's cringe a little bit. I think like that's... Because then the flip side of that, and I'm not knocking anybody who does this. You can wear whatever makes you feel comfortable. But for me, like the idea that like the suit makes you hotter is great. But there's a cringe energy to like, oh, someone gave me a compliment the one time I wore this suit, so now I'm going to wear this suit every single day. If everybody else is wearing a suit, sure, that's then you know, when in Rome, you're following the act of the Romans. But if like everybody else is wearing graphic T-shirts from Chiefs Luau, Hawaii, you know, you gotta dress down a little bit. Hold, hold, hold. Nice try. You know what? Take me over here. Take me over here. I work at a startup. You shouldn't have typed this, man. Is this illegal? I worked at a startup. We considered not hiring some guy because he came to the interview in a suit. Come on. What did you want him to wear, Jack Dorsey? The fucking Lego boots Rick owns? Like, what did you... Come on. Achievement unlocked. Why would that be illegal? I mean, isn't it like... I don't know. I think it's kind of fucked up that you're going to be like, I'm not going to hire a dude because he wore a suit to a job interview. Go ahead, shoot me. Like, that's when you wear a suit, man. Culture fit issue? I mean, you got to have a pair of brass ones to, like, you know, have a job interview and show up in, like, Supreme. Ultra Boosts and stuff like that. Like, that's a putting your cojones on the desk right away. Because I feel like 8 out of 10 times is going to work negatively for you. And you're like, oh, I should have just worn a fucking suit. Those 2 out of 10 times, though, interviewing at sheesh.com. Also, no disrespect, okay? But you know, like, I'm starting the Butlerian Jihad, but I could be persuaded not to. I don't know. My opinions change pretty rapidly. But, like, you're a startup. You're nerds. Don't be those nerds who, like, you know, you're nerds all the way through high school and college. Then you get a little VC money, and all of a sudden you start dressing like rappers and looking down at the people in the rat race. What are you doing, man? Y Combinator literally made you, bro. You're made of the same fucking riboflavin as the rest of us. Started dressing like Jay-Z just because you got Series A funding? Like, you're banging on the keyboard all day, brother. Like, we're not so different. Just relax, man. I miss when Delta Force used to look like accountants. Wait, back it up a little bit. You ever see the photo, though, of that guy in the U.S. military, the originator of Delta Force, and it's like you wouldn't believe it, but this is actually one of the scariest people on the planet, and it's just a 50-year-old man with old man glasses who looks like this. You ever see it? Go find librarian, find the photo. When you link it, I'll make the face. It's something like that. You'll find it. When you see it, you'll be like, that's the face. It's actually pretty good. I mean, I think I've gone too far in my 90s maxing. But every once in a while, like 1998. Oh! You would go to a friend's birthday party, and your friend's dad would just look like a normal guy. And then, like, he'd be like, okay, guys, like, the pool's warm, time to hop in. And he would take off his shirt, and he would have, like, an 8-pack. And you're like, what the fuck is a normal guy doing with an 8-pack? What happened to those kind of guys? Now every guy that is fit has, like, a full sleeve tattoo and, like, a tack vest on at all times. It's going back a ways. That's fine. He does look like a nerd. I wouldn't say I like miss the aesthetic because like he was probably doing some bad stuff, or I don't know. Maybe he was like preserving the freedom of the world or something. I don't really know, honestly. But he does. His eyes have a certain vacancy that scares me for sure. He was doing bad stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what Delta Force was up to. Probably. The fact that I don't know about it means that it's probably... You know what? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I don't want to end up like in a concrete box somewhere or something like that. Hold, hold. Oh my God, it's going to hold. Oh my, oh, just, no, pinball. Michael Clemens. Y'all, it's picking up a little speed. That's unfortunate. Jumped the wall on that one. That is actually going to hold. And it's a long trip, don't get me wrong, but thank God. Whee! Whee! The physics, man. Oh, there it is. I would simply walk up to the top. Honestly, I say this knowing it's funny and knowing that I could pretend that it's ironic for clout, but actually I feel like there's something genuinely true here. I feel like this game is easier to play spiritually, soulfully, if you have a toddler. Before I had a toddler and I was in a rush all the time and labored under the delusion that I could always get places quickly because I only had to take care of myself, I think I would have been like, oh, taking this fucking ball everywhere is annoying. It slows me down and sometimes I have to go back and get it. But like, now that like my previous 8-minute trips to the grocery store are like 38 minutes because I have a 3-year-old in tow, like this shit ain't nothing to me, man. What is a 10-minute walk as an adult becomes like a 2-hour journey when you have a toddler. So like this just feels normal, man. It takes as long as it takes. You gotta get rotini. You gotta get marinara sauce so you're not gonna have any pasta to put in her lunchbox tomorrow. More time for Pogo? No, Pogo was like, it was easy enough when she was in the stroller. But now that, like, I'm making sure she doesn't get hit by a car, like, 3 hours a day, I can't be looking at my phone that much. Also, I saw a tweet. I think it wasn't about Pogo, but it was about Pokemon itself. And I was like, that tweet highlighted one of the reasons I don't care about Pokemon Go as much as I used to. Not that it was ever really like a big part of my life, but either way, it was like evolving Pokemon 20 years ago. Oh, hit level, blah, blah, blah. Use a stone, trade the Pokemon. And then like evolving Pokemon now is like wait until 10:03 p.m. on a night with a full moon and then apply 400 candies to it and like spin around 360 degrees while you... Because that's what happened to me in Pokemon Go. I'm like, oh, I'm missing like these Pokemon from fucking Gen 700. And I'm like, but I got 400 Rocks Rough candies. And it's like, oh, you gotta evolve after sundown in order to create like a Twilight Rocks Rough. And I'm like, my ass isn't fucking out then, bro. I'm asleep. Plus, it's the summertime. The sun doesn't go down until like 9:15, bro. I got shit to do. Oh, motherfucker. Hold. It's not gonna hold, but it's gonna hold at the same spot it held at before. You had to do that for Espeon and Umbreon? Yeah, things change, motherfucker. It's before I had a child. Go walk to a fucking brew pub for dinner at 9:45 p.m. Then I can pull my phone out and evolve a fucking Umbreon and an Espeon. Brad, what are you gonna do? Okay, focus on the positive. At least it slowed it down. If that fucker goes, it took the ramp all the way down. That's unbelievable. Oh, it held for just a brief moment. Okay, that's fine. Just a little bit more lateral movement would help me out a lot. I don't like seeing the front spin on this. I'd love to see some back spin. You know what? That looks like it's going to hold right there. I can live with that. It doesn't bother me. Not that bad, man. Since I had kids, I can only go to the gym at 10 p.m. I think when you have kids, I've falsely drawn the equivalence that having kids equals you become a morning person. But from talking to other dads, I think it's more nuanced than that. I think after you have kids, you have to choose whether you're going to become a morning Andy or a nighttime Andy to preserve your sanity. I chose to spec into morning max, morning cardio, 4 alarms on my phone to make sure I get up at 5:45 a.m. But some people, yeah, if you do beer league hockey, like my dad played beer league hockey when I was growing up, it would be like a Wednesday night and the fucking game starts at 10. So you'd get to sometimes I went with him, probably so like my mom could have some privacy for once. You go, like get there at 9:15, takes a half hour to change into your gear, play from like 10 till 11. Go out to Boston Pizza afterwards. Like, it's crazy, man. I have an 11 p.m. beer league game tonight. Honestly, God's strongest soldier. That's so fucking late. I could never. I think, like, inside of you, there are two dads. There's 11 p.m. beer league hockey or, like, 7:15 a.m. 9 holes of golf tee time. I'm neither, but I think I'm closer to the second one. Hold, 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 hold. I remember thinking 10 p.m. was a late time for a party to start in college. Well, it is, because, I mean, like, it's been a long time, okay? And I feel like, based on the age at which I went to school, you know, like the late 2000s, plus my school's academic reputation falling into disrepair, and now it's known as kind of like a middling institution that has a problematic party culture. We would, if we were throwing a jam, we would tell people to come over like 6:30. And if you got people coming over at 6:30, you start, maybe pre-gaming. Maybe pre-gaming at lunch or something like that. Because you needed, and I'm not trying to glamorize this. I think there's only a limited time in your life in which you could actually take advantage of this. But like a grown-up party has a different vibe. It starts at 7. You go, you have like a couple of glasses of wine, and then it just peters out. You go home. But like a college party, every night has the potential to be like an odyssey. There's a different vibe to the pregame. There's a different vibe to the, when people start showing up. Then there's a different vibe when the games start happening. Then the vibe can shift mightily 45 minutes later when the first person throws up. And then they boot and rally, and then there's a different vibe when you like go out for food. And then some dude is like, hey, what if we just didn't go to sleep tonight? Like, what if we decided to like stay awake all night? And sometimes you're so like, your judgment's so impaired by that point, you're like, that's a great idea. And then by like 8 a.m. in the morning, you're like, oh, fuck, what were we thinking? There's a very brief, limited moment in your life when you could take advantage of that. So I do think a 10 p.m. college start time is late. I mean, for me now, if I went to, like, if one of my friends was like, we're having a shindig, it starts at 10, I would be like, you can fucking give me the recap in the morning, brother. Okay, hold. No one's throwing a college party at 6:40? Well, I mean, honestly, as millennials, we kind of knew in 2008 that like alcohol is bad for you, but like we didn't know as much. We were like drinking 12 beers and being like, remember when people used to smoke cigarettes? How stupid were they? Just a very slightly different era. By the way, don't insult me. I did not go to Western, by the way. Like I said, my school's academic reputation has fallen into disrepair. Not that my school has never had an academic reputation to speak of. You got me confused. Laurier? Now you're just being mean. There's no need for that. I went to Queens, a previously respectable institution that its downfall started with one flipped car in 2005. Queens, you got me. You got me. We're Queens guys. Of course we get 5-piece chicken strips from the Lazy Scholar, and then when the cashier asks us what it is, we say hummus sandwich. I don't know if the Lazy Scholar still exists. It was a quick serve restaurant when I was there. I get the gist of it. Oh man, it's dead. It does. I mean, it opened, I think, the year that I started there, so it was the new hotness. That's also where I got Coca-Cola Black came out. The Coca-Cola that was coffee flavored. And then like a year later, Coca-Cola was like, we're not going to support this. Went to the Lazy Scholar one day, maybe like the last week before exams were finished. Oh, baby. I swear it to you, they were selling 12 packs. Buy one, get 11 free. So you got 12 bottles of Coca-Cola Black for the price of one bottle of Coca-Cola Black. It was crazy, man. I've never seen a deal like that in my life before. It was like 92% off. Now, was it good? I didn't drink coffee at the time. I thought it was like pretty bad. But also, I was like, I can't pass up a bargain like that. It's fine. It's totally fine. Look at that. I went to Queens and Trent, and honestly, the academics were better at Trent. Yeah, okay, and what else does Trent have going for it? Oh, if you get a job in Peterborough, you can enjoy the Havelock Country fucking Jamboree in the summer. At least Kingston has some government jobs. Like, no disrespect. Peterborough mention, lol. I got nothing against Peterborough. I'm just saying that the tourist travel goes in one direction between Peterborough and Kingston, except for the Havelock Country Jamboree, okay? Except for the Havelock Country Jamboree. Who knew Canadian colleges had rivalries like that? I actually think it's like easier to have rivalries between Canadian schools because there's actually only like 40 Canadian universities that matter. And I'm not just being like elitist. Like there might be 100 universities in the whole country. So like 40 of them that matter is like, that's most of, well, technically not most, but a lot of them are just diploma mills. I thought they had like 10 to 15. Nah, bro. There's like, I mean, there's probably like 30 in Ontario alone that matter. Well, that matter a little bit. That matter? I mean, like that are, you know, part of the conversation. Like nobody's like, oh yeah, UBC, yeah, that school's pretty good. Where did you go? University Canada West. Fucking Golden Griffins represent. You know, you got. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna inevitably offend some Canadians by leaving some out, but there's a lot that matter. U of T, McGill, UBC, SFU, Waterloo, Queens does matter, though I don't know how long that may continue. You know, Dalhousie, York, the university formerly known as Ryerson, which I think is now called like Toronto Metropolitan or something like that. There's a lot. University of Alberta, University of Calgary, yeah. Trent, sure, why not? Lakehead, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Carleton, I got in there. A lot of people from my high school went to Carleton. It's like a good school that is, at least at the time, was not hard to get into. Let's put it that way. How many national championships do they have? Excuse me. The Queen's Engineering Concrete Canoe Team is world class. Hold. What was I? Yes! BCIT. I mean, I went to BCIT. Or I guess went, I don't know. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I took classes at BCIT. I don't know if I would say I went. I had a lot of other shit going on. Seems like a good school, but it also seems like a school that is like, the culture is cooked, right? Like it's entirely people getting either airplane mechanic certificates or computer science degrees. Like I don't think they were throwing too many ragers, but maybe that's just because I was like 30 when I was there. I don't know. The Discord parties went crazy. Probably true. Probably true. They don't invite the 30-year-olds to the function? Bro, the only functions were like when recruiters were coming. That was the function. The function was a damn job fair. Which is probably good. Now that I think about it. Okay, hold. Hold, 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 hold. We had the Arkells at our homecoming concert. I got to put some respect on that. Biggest homecoming concert when I was at Queens. You know who the artist was? Bedouin Sound Clash. Hey, 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 beautiful day. When the night feels my soul. You remember them? People were going ape shit. They're like, I gotta get out of class early for the Bedouin Sound Clash concert. That's a classic. They're from Queens? Yeah, so are Splash and Boots, but I don't necessarily want to see them at homecoming. Hold, hold. You go to Blues Fest ever? We're so Ontario posting right now. I did go to Blues Fest once. My parents took me. It was probably Blues Fest 99 or Blues Fest 2000. They took me on the first night to see Headliner, and every 11-year-old kid loves this artist, Little Richard, at Ottawa Blues Fest. And all I remember, and I got respect for Little Richard now, but circa 2000 when I was 11 years old, not really. He was the headliner on Friday night, so he was supposed to come on late, like 8 or 9 p.m. So we got there because my parents are habitual early people. We got there, realistically, I would say like 6:30. Got good seats on the bleachers. Gave ourselves complete dehydration because nobody's paying, $7.50 for a bottle of Aquafina. Artist before Little Richard finishes, 8:30. Little Richard's supposed to come on in 10 minutes. No Little Richard. 9 o'clock rolls around, no Little Richard. 9:30 rolls around, you get to the point where like the MC starts to try to keep the crowd from rioting. So they're like, hey, Little Richard has just arrived. He's in the dressing room right now, getting ready. And then we left. I was only, like I said, 10 or 11 years old. We left before Little Richard even played because it was like 11 o'clock and the motherfucker wasn't out on stage yet. And we were like, we got to get back to the hotel. We got a little kid with us who doesn't know shit about Tutti Frutti. Whee! Don't meet your heroes? Well, I mean, listen, I understand that Little Richard probably wasn't super excited to play Ottawa Blues Fest or whatever. It's so not holdable. Whatever. And he is literally a legendary artist. But at the same time, should at least show up. You could be half an hour late. That's fine. I met NL at GP Portland. I asked him if he wanted to draft with us, and he said, Peepo, leave. That's a real story that happened. I mean, it was different than that. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, you were like, hey, a bunch of us are drafting tonight. Do you want a part of it? And I think I said, oh, thanks for the invite, but I'm, magicked out. You got to remember, I only went to 2 Magic GPs, and I didn't main event in either of them. So I just spent all day, every day of each of the GPs getting my ass beat by nerds in Magic, man. So then, it was a nice offer, but then you're like, hey, you want to get your ass beat in Magic some more? No, I don't. I want to go have a nice dinner or something. I want to get back in my domain where I got a little bit of competency. How many pro points do you have? I would guess 0. No, okay, that's fine. It's totally fine. Totally fine. How many packs have you won at pre-release? I probably played in 3 pre-releases, and I would say my lifetime pack winnings is maybe 4 packs, which is probably going 3-1 once, if I had to guess. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of, my average FNM experience was going 1-3. Get my ass kicked the first 3 rounds, and then like round 4, they pair me with like some guy who only came because his friend dragged him, and he's got like a homebrewed like merfolk deck or something like that. And the embarrassing thing is that like I'm running like a meta deck against his homebrewed merfolk deck, and then I'm beating him 2-1, and I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't fucking zero out. Hold it, don't sprint. There you go. Like, first 3 rounds, you go up against people that have been playing Magic for like 20 years. Last round, the motherfucker's deck isn't even sleeved, and you're like, is this how far I've fallen? No disrespect, but is this how far I've fallen? And the answer is no. I never even climbed in the first place. Was your deck sleeved? Of course, it was double sleeved, bro. With the damn Hare Ruya sleeves. You know, with the yellow back with the sun on them. Help! I mean, we had the aesthetics on lock, man. It looked like you and Kate were crushing it in Two-Headed Giant. I remember it must have been the Portland GP. Portland GP, we probably went 2-2 or 3-1 in one of those Two-Headed Giant events. Kate's just better at Magic than me, to be honest. Like, I'm still... It took me a while to realize this. And I'm not insulting anybody else's way of playing these games. It was just Magic was a bad fit for me. Because at my core, I know this sounds patronizing, but at my core, if I'm playing games in a social setting, I'm playing them to have fun. So, like, I don't want to lock in. Like, I don't want to like leave board game night and then Google like what's the best strategy for like Sushi Go or something like that, right? I just want to be like, bro, just for this one, I'm grabbing eggs. I'm grabbing all the eggs that I can. So like Magic was kind of a bad fit for me because even the people who claim to just be playing it for fun, like most of them are, you know, on a different level of strategery than I am.